Hi, just wanted to show how I cut this polyethylene foam we have here that I fill these cases with for various equipment, say like a piece of musical equipment or like a firearm magazine. What I have here for a Ruger 2245. So, tools you'll need: a sharp short knife. I have a couple different options also, being serrated knives. They work really good from doing large cuts. Okay, first thing we do, get this polyethylene out of here. I like to use just a file folder. It's real easy to trace on. It's nice and tough. So, set your parts you're going to pattern down on it. Take your pen, trace just to the inside of it so we get a nice tight fit when everything's said and done. Leave lots of room around little protrusions. You should be able to ignore these 1/4 inch inputs. Okay. Now I have a nice little pattern of that. Do this magazine here next. Hold it down nice and tight so it doesn't move on you. Trace, trace, trace. And you'll see there it gets really nicely detailed. You probably won't want to try and cut with this much detail just because it doesn't really gain anything. Okay. Now I already have these cut out just for the sake of time, and I've placed a little bit of masking tape rolled up on the back to hold them to the foam. You'll see I left this detail here rounded. You choose how you want to do it. I like to leave a little bit of room around some of these things just so that it's not gripping them with a death grip. Okay. For these little parts, let's just use this small paring knife size thing. Make sure you go down straight. Don't worry about getting all the way through on the first pass. You really just want to establish the outline of it. Okay. Do as much straight stuff as possible first. Stuff gets out of your way real super easy when you have a nice sharp knife. No problem. Take this off of there. Open this up, see where we need to cut through the rest of the way. Leave those corners intact. We can just yank those out of there probably. Okay. Just kind of cut that out of there, clean this little bit out there. You can see how easy this stuff cuts. Okay. First up being the magazine. We can see it goes all the way to the bottom. That's okay. If we want it to mount flush, we take what's left of our part here, figure out our height, a little bit underneath that, honestly. If I'm making a big long cut, a straight cut, I like to use this big bread knife or something similar to long. Cut it, try and keep it flat. This will put a little bit under flush. Or if I use the other part that I cut out, I'll mount it just about flush. Looks pretty good. Cut this big straight section here next for this MXR blowtorch. Cut. Cut. Got a little bit of detail here to work around. Stuff gets out of your way real super nice. Cut. Cut. Cut them corners out. Take this off of there. And just see it. We've got to just go through it a little bit more. See a little bump there. Looks good. Got a nice cutout for it. Once again, if we wanted to leave it a little bit above flush, you might want to choose to use the factory side here that looks nice. One side's a little rough, one side's nice and smooth. Let's take this. I'll just cut it about in half just so we can see what's going on. There we go. Put that back in there. Put that in there. Once again, insert for the magazine. Look at that. Nice and tightly in there. You can choose to cut it tighter if you'd like. I like to leave it a little bit loose. Personal preference. And I'll go ahead and show you how I cut these big inserts too, in case you're wondering. I like to use a nice big long straight edge. So, line all your stuff up. Get this nice long knife in here too. Drag it along. Drag it along. Cut these from the corners. That off. Goes right through. Real super easy to do. I used a hot wire to begin with, but I didn't like the cut it gave me versus a knife. Be real super honest with you. It had to get hot. It was tough to use. It wouldn't make a straight up and down cut like you can do with a knife. And look at that. I can just, get that nicely cut out of there. Come back in here with a little bit of detail. Should I need to. I'll do it for your guys' benefit. You got serrated knife really does a nice job of cutting into it on a longer distance. Comes right off. Powder comes right off. Looks pretty good. So once again, polyethylene foam. This is actually 1.7 pounds per cubic foot. But you can see it's resilient to damage. Doesn't seem to absorb water. I've been playing with it for about a month. It seems to keep really, really super dry. So there's your just musical equipment or say firearms accessories. Okay. Ask me any questions if you need to. Thanks. Bye.